When Damon's 11 or 12, and we have the means to send him to England or Australia to school, would we do it?
Also bullying online and viral bullying, that's a real big issue because someone doesn't have to physically come up to you and say something offensive to you. They can just like write a lot of crap online or like post really negative things on your feed.
Not only do they want to do silly things, they're urged by everything around them just to say it, be mean, be hurtful. People want to know what it's like living in England and growing up there, or in Australia. And I think it's a topic that you can't explain or talk about in one vlog. So I guess the best thing to do is talk about when we were the most little. Primary, secondary school, the schooling, the experiences we had, the happy moments, the unhappy moments, and then we'll just take it from there. You're telling me that you had a very easygoing primary, secondary school life.
Maybe because I'm quite oblivious to some things and I'm not super sensitive and I just let things go.
You're quite easygoing.
Yeah. So nothing that has caused me emotional baggage, like, or emotional issues. Yeah. I remember certain incidents with racism or like things that happened at school, but it wasn't something I was really upset about for a long time.
I do agree with you in that if it's not something that's continuous, if it's just passing, the kids are being silly, then it's not serious. How you gauge the seriousness is not in the action by the person, but how you feel as a recipient.
Yes.
So it's hard to say if it's serious or not, because you don't know how the other person feels. And obviously with you, I guess having grown up and now, as you said, it didn't really scar you emotionally, so it's okay. And for me, I guess, likewise, occasionally you come across kids who Ching Chong Chinaman, that kind of thing. Nothing serious. I've grown up okay. And also maybe because I have one older brother and two younger brothers, so we grew up like a team. I remember one incident. I was 7. So this one kid ran over to our front garden and asked, "What's your favourite fruit?" "It must be rice." Huh? And the three of us were just staring at him, laughing. I was like, rice is not a fruit, I'm afraid. And, you know, that got forgotten about. But when it does get serious, I guess you can't talk about it so lightly. But I grew up in England, 30, 40 years ago. And bullying back then, like now, is commonplace. And why we're talking about it now is because Damon's growing up and we're conflicted. We don't know what to teach him about bullying, how to deal with it. If something happens, what he should do, who he should speak to.
Well, these days it's not just about physical bullying at school. Also bullying online and viral bullying, that's a real big issue because someone doesn't have to physically come up to you and say something offensive to you. They can just like write a lot of crap online or like post really negative things on your feed. That sort of bullying really gets to a lot of young people's heads because first of all, they don't know why, and it could be something completely not true and it could be spread within like 30 minutes. I think that's something we need to also prep our kids about.
Social media, the effect it has on their life. It's strange because it's like everyone has a bigger mouth now because it's like what they say online has such a massive influence on all their friends and peers.
I think rather like physical bullying at school, like we could tell Damon, if this person comes up to you every single day and does something that really makes you unhappy, that's classified straight away as bullying and you can, you can tell the teacher, look, A is doing this. But let's say if he faces bullying online or like he's getting trolled online, then how do we teach him to deal with that? Because that person might not be someone you can put a face to, or you can't call up the teacher and say, hey, this random is bullying me. And you can't not expose them to social media. Everything,
too much either. I'm thinking, when Damon's 11 or 12, and we have the means to send him to England or Australia to school, would we do it? Just to send them away, to not have them by our sides anymore.
That's really soon, actually. He's already 3.
And you can't have that mentality, I'm going to keep him next to me forever. I'll protect him how I can. So you've got to let him go. If it suits them, if Damon likes England, then so be it. Then he's going to have to deal with life in England, maybe bullying, whether it's racism or because of his height or weight or how he looks.
If you are quite sure about yourself, you have a sense of security about yourself and you're quite confident, a lot of the stuff don't get to you as easily. So I think why sort of the negative comments, random comments I get at school don't really affect me, because I'm quite confident in a lot of areas, in the sense that I don't really feel like just because I'm short, I'm not as good as the tall girl, or like, I think we have to teach him to be happy about being who he is and be confident and have a sense of security and an identity about himself.
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
important.
I think in secondary school, the stuff that I experienced was still quite light-hearted, just silly kids saying silly things and then trying to get a reaction out of you. How it differs to now, 2021, is that the power of social media is massive. Kids are watching the news, playing on Instagram and Facebook. Not only do they want to do silly things, they're urged by everything around them just to say it, be mean, be hurtful. And that's just really difficult to deal with.
I think it's a great thing that kids are taught to be expressive.
Yeah.
But the extent of the expression, right? What could initially be something just really lightheartedly expressive can be offensive. And that's a grey area, right? Where it becomes offensive for the other person.
Sarah's always telling me to be careful with what I say. I describe snails in these kids' books as ugly and slow. And Damon's very quick to pick that up because, it's just, they learn things so quickly. And so Damon, in his mind, a snail is ugly. I'm thinking, is it a big deal? I guess snails have no emotional baggage. So in that respect,
For all the snail fans out there, we're sorry.
But, being able to describe something as, that's disgusting, it's ugly, it's not a big deal. But when you take that and you apply it to people and kids and you do it hurtfully, then that's not okay. So when you said kids have to be expressive, I think in terms of being who they are, yes, partly. And also when they come home and when they want to tell you things that have happened to them, whether it's happy or sad, I think that's really important.
Back to your snail thing. You can teach them older when they know how to use that word in what context. Then I think it's fine to teach them
Slightly more
ugly.
appropriate, yeah.
Be more appropriate. But right now, he doesn't know what context to use it. So he could see someone with funny shoes and be like, ugly shoes, and that becomes offensive.
It's only ugly when it's green and it's very dirty looking. If you recall,
You like your shoes now, right?
they're fairly ugly. Grey trucks that are dirty and dusty, ugly. Snails, ugly. So he's kind of got the idea. He understands what ugly is. So I'm doing kind of okay.
Okay.
What's it? I need to blow my nose. My ugly nose.
If you justify that, which I don't really agree on, but...
This is kind of deviated from our talk about England and Australia and our upbringing, because everything touches on different notes and different parts of our lives. So I don't know how to round up, really.
It can't be round up, this topic is continuous.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can still talk about what happens, unfair treatment in the workplace.
Yeah. Whether it's
in Hong Kong
because of your sex or
in England.
Race.
When you're traveling, you might face issues like that as well.
Yeah.
So this inequality, self-identity, bullying / racism / emotional issue talk can go on forever.
Let's end it on a light-hearted, happier note. Just love your kids and love yourself.
Don't love your wife, though.
She loves me already.
Okay.